My name is Eddie Farr. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I make electronic art. Electronic art to me is sort of taking everyday objects and incorporating electronics into them, but exposing the electronics so it's not really hidden behind sort of a appealing or palatable shell that most people think of when they think of electronics. So a lot of my work focuses around the idea of wonderment, sort of taking the idea from when you're a kid and you see something for the first time. You get this awe-inspiring sense of wonder and like mystery of how this works. So my small scale work, the wonder comes from how do you create something this small, this detailed with these sort of basic components. Up to my large scale work, usually the sheer size of it is a little overwhelming, fully immerses you into a space. So Big Sheet is sort of this realization of a dream I had a few years ago. In the dream, I was in a space and in front of me there was a piece of fabric draped all the way to the floor, as far left and right as I could see. And as I started walking towards the sheet, the section right in front of me started to lift up. And because it's a dream, I wasn't afraid. I just kept walking towards the sheet. And as I kept walking forward, the sheet lifted up, eventually closing behind me, but being open in front of me. So I was sort of exploring the underneath of this sheet in a sort of warm cocoon of soft, warm white light and fabric. And so Big Sheet, the physical structure now, is sort of my attempt at realizing this. So taking this idea of a large soft structure sort of suspended from who knows what, moving around above you and fluctuating, taking that dream and trying to make it reality. This current iteration of Big Sheet, there are sort of three main components. There's a grid of motors that's attached to the ceiling. There's a rigid frame that is attached to the motors, and then the frame is attached to the actual soft sculpture itself. So basically whenever a motor pulls up on the frame, because it's rigid, it'll flex a little and it'll pull up the sheet in sort of a nice soft curve as opposed to a jagged point. The big takeaway from Big Sheet is sort of this sense of calm wonder. A lot of people have come in with yoga mats and just laying down and sort of zoned out for 30 minutes while the motors are ticking away and there's this soft sort of motion above them. It's been a good way for people to sort of slow down and refresh with everything that's been going on this year. It's sort of a weird safe space to go where the only expectation is that you are there and there's nothing else that you need to do as a participant.